What's going on YouTube? Cooper Brown coming at you with another video here in the beautiful Omaha, Nebraska. 7 tips on how to sell fast on eBay. Everyone wants to know how to sell faster. People don't like sitting on their items. I don't like sitting on my items. I'm trying to get items that sell faster these days. Excuse me. And I've come up with 7 tips on how to sell items faster on eBay. So why don't we go ahead and get right into it, starting with tip number 1, sell in-demand items. This is the most important tip no matter what. If you're trying to sell used underwear and you have the perfect description, perfect price, perfect pictures, no one's gonna buy it because no one wants to buy used underwear on eBay. You're not even allowed to sell used underwear on eBay. So get good items, such, for example, game consoles, cell phones, things that are in demand. Even if you have terrible listings, terrible photos, terrible description, but you price it well, it's still gonna sell. So try to find in-demand items. What I like to do is go on eBay, search the sold listings. If you have local competition, look at what they're selling. If you follow people on YouTube, Instagram, social media, try to look at what they're selling. What they're selling, you could probably sell too, especially if they're flipping stuff at thrift stores. Just learn different brands, learn different items, and then look for those specific items. What I try to do is every week learn a couple more brands, learn a couple more categories, or maybe one category a week you can try doing research on and learning about. The more you broaden your knowledge with different types of items, the better quality items you'll find. Weed out the items that you like to sell that might not sell that fast. Just try to get rid of those and get the higher turning items in your inventory. This kind of ties into tip number 2, price competitively. In my opinion, you want to be the lowest price item in the same category or same exact items that you're selling, because if you're going to customer A and you're selling the same exact item as seller B is selling, why would they buy from seller B if your item is priced the best? At least that's how I shop. I like to shop from price low to high. So whenever possible, try to price as low as you can. Or for example, if you're selling a DVD VHS combo and yours has a remote combined with it, and then there's one other listing that doesn't have a remote, you don't need to be the lowest price there, but account for the remote. Sometimes those remotes can run you 10, 15 bucks. So maybe price that at 10 bucks over your competition with the remote, but don't price it like 50 bucks higher just because you have the remote, but price it somewhat close. Definitely you can go above them since you have the remote, but don't go too crazy on the price. Some people like to go crazy on the price and wait for best offers to roll in. That's kind of what I used to do. I used to price really high and wait, even like $5 over what I wanted, but it came to be where those items would sit forever and ever and ever, and I've gotten way better results when I price just a little bit lower, a little more sexy looking of a price. Customers like that, so I highly recommend pricing as competitively as you can. It'll get you more eyeballs on your items as well, more watchers and whatnot, so it definitely pays off. And this kind of ties into tip number 3, make your listings sexy. Get the titles looking clean. Get the pictures looking awesome. Get them looking flawless. Get them looking bright. Get your description looking good. So let's start with the title. With the title on eBay, you want to fill it all the way out to the end. Get as many keywords as possible. Usually what I do, I always include the brand, always include the gender, always include the item itself, and then the descriptors. So the size, color, let's say, for example, a Nike golf polo shirt. You want to put the sleeve length in there, short sleeve, if you can fit that in there. If it's striped, solid color, adult or youth, all of that. So I usually do brand, gender, item, size, and then the rest of the keywords I can fit in. And then the photos. eBay really wants everyone to start using white backgrounds. I highly recommend using white backgrounds. Not only does this help your listings in the eBay algorithm go more to the top, it helps in the Google search as well, because they only prefer to show items with white backgrounds. So if someone's Google shopping, they type your item in and you have a white background, usually it'll pop up in the Google shopping. But if you use like a dark wood background or a dark brick background like I used to, it's probably not going to show up in the Google search. So that's something you need to think about. All right, tip number 4, speedy, super nice, and over communication in regards to customer service. Customer service is huge. Selling on eBay, you'll get a lot of messages about items. You always want to respond as fast as possible. I try to respond within 1 hour of someone sending me a message. And tip number 2, which a lot of people don't always do, is be super nice even when the customer is rude to you or is asking a question like, what are the measurements? And the measurements are already in the description. They can ask you a lot of weird questions and they will definitely drive you nuts like they do me, but just answer them and don't be a smart aleck. Just if the measurements are in the description, don't say, hey, the measurements are in the description, why don't you go look there? No, just send them the measurements. Say it's 22 inches pit to pit by 27 length. And then put a smiley face. I almost always put smiley faces on my responses, even if they're pissed, and they always usually answer back nicely. And then also over communicate. So sometimes though, if you don't over communicate, they'll ask the same question over and over. So just make your answers as long-winded as possible. Say every single possible thing. And if you think they're going to ask another question after that, I would try to answer that question as well. So answer as fast as possible. Be as nice as possible, even though it can be difficult. And then over communicate. All right, tip number 5. Sorry, I lost count there. Become a top-rated seller or maintain top-rated seller status. There's a bunch of different little requirements that go into being a top-rated seller, but it's not that difficult to become one. Go on the eBay website, they'll tell you how to do it, but the most important aspects of this, in my opinion, is to offer 1-day shipping handling time. It's not that difficult to do, especially when you can schedule a pickup from the post office to pick up from your house packages every day. And you can just leave it on your porch and they'll come pick it up every day. So if a package sells, I always package up at nighttime, and then I also do it in the morning for items that sell overnight. But you don't even have to do that. You just every night you can do that and then schedule the pickup, have them pick it up the next day. Super easy to maintain 1-day shipping and handling time. And also you want to minimize your returns. This should be easy if you have a sexy listing like we talked about earlier. That was one thing I forgot to talk about, was the description in your listing. Try to have the measurements. Measurements are huge. People always ask questions about measurements. If you don't, also it will protect you from a lot of returns because people aren't gambling that it'll fit. The measurements will be on there. They'll be much more likely to buy it if it fits, and you won't have to worry about returns. And then I believe with top-rated seller status now, you have to offer returns. So personally, I offer free returns, and it seems like my returns have gone down. I don't have a lot. It might be like 3% on average now, 3 to 5% if it gets bad, but it's just part of business. It's not that big of a deal. You got to expect to take a blow sometimes, and it really, the boost in sales I've gotten from adding free returns has outweighed the amount of returns I've had. So that's something I recommend as well to help you maintain that top-rated seller status. If anything bad happens to your account, you get a bunch of penalties against you or whatnot, and it's not your fault or it was some kind of BS, you can call into eBay customer service, and a lot of times they will work with you getting those defects off your account. So call them, be nice, be respectful, and a lot of the times they will forgive you. All right. Tip number 6. I love this tip because I haven't used it all the time and I've started using it more recently. Utilize auctions. Auctions are a staple of eBay. Auctions are awesome for selling your stuff fast. And I love using auctions to clearance out items that have been sitting around a long time. Usually if items sit for, more than 5-6 months or so, I'm starting to put them up on auction. And they've been sitting, they haven't been getting any offers or anything. And as soon as I put the auction up, they get bids right away. What the heck? Why haven't I been using these the whole time? Use auctions. A lot of the times, if you're using them for older items, you're not going to get a ton of offers or bids and get a ton of money for them, but you'll sell them. Make sure, I like to do my shipping cost at the minimum I'll take for the auction. Then I'll usually do a penny, start them at a penny or start them at 99 cents. So I'm always like gaining $1 or $2 if they sell. And if it gets any more than that, it's bonus money. But it's basically just an easy way to clearance them out and get your money back that you spent on them. Hopefully to break even or to make a little extra money. But then also you can utilize auctions when you're listing items for the first time, especially if you know they're going to get a lot of traffic, a lot of watchers, and you just want to sell through them quick. Instead of pricing high and waiting for the best offer to roll in, you can usually turn them around in 7 days, 5, 10, or 5, 7, 10 days, however long you want your auctions to be. But that's something I've loved using recently. It also brings a lot of eyeballs and traffic to your store. Auctions all around, it seems like it gives a boost to my store overall too. So I love auctions. Give them a try. Let me know in the comments below if you're using auctions or if you're going to try it out. And for the last tip, number 7, have you tried it before? Cross-listing your items on different seller platforms. Yes, this does not directly involve anything on eBay, but if you're selling clothes or anything else specifically, I highly recommend trying to cross-list on Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, any of these other seller platforms. This has been a big boost to my business. It's very easy to copy and paste listings and photos, the text from eBay to Poshmark and Mercari. Those two are really strong right now. It gives you a ton of extra eyeballs on your items that you wouldn't get otherwise. And this obviously can boost your sales on those two platforms, but I've seen as well that people go from Poshmark and Mercari to my eBay store because they're looking at certain items there and they'd rather buy it on eBay, and they might Google search for it and find your item on eBay because they have better return policies on eBay, so that can help boost your eBay sales as well. So they all three work in unison to help each other out. And the certain lessons and tips you learn from those other platforms you can apply to eBay. The tips you learn from eBay, you can apply it to those platforms. It's just a whole good symbiotic relationship that I love and will guarantee to boost your sales. I highly recommend trying that out. Just be sure to remove items on one platform when they sell from another. It's very rare when that happens, but you just want to make sure you're on top of it. So that is my 7 tips for selling fast on eBay. Just to review what we went over: sell in-demand items, tip number 1. Tip number 2, price competitively. Tip number 3, make your listing sexy, have an awesome description. Also in that, try not to have too many negative things like, if you want to return my item, make sure you put a return in with 14 days. People know that. They can see the return policy. You don't need to sound like an a-hole. Tip number 4, speedy, super nice, and over-communicate with your customer service. Tip number 5, become a top-rated seller or maintain the top-rated seller status. Tip number 6, utilize auctions. Tip number 7, cross-list your items. Give it a try, give it a shot. If you found some value in this video, please give it a like. And also, if you like any of the tips or have any extra tips for our fellow brethren resellers out there, leave them in the comments below. I like to talk with you guys. It's fun. I like responding to comments and whatnot. So I'd appreciate you if you left a comment and give this video a like. Also subscribe if you want to get some more awesome reseller content from yours truly. All right, everybody, let's get out there. Let's get to listing. I got to go list today, so I'm going to get on it. I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace. Forgot to hit that button.